Oh, yes.
Welcome back once again, everyone. Today we are taking a look at the new Transformers Cyberverse Ultra Class Thunderhowl toy. This is a figure that just kind of started dropping on Target shelves unexpectedly, and I was fortunate enough to come across them today. So decided to grab a copy and do a review for you guys. Now, Thunderhowl is another, kind of one-off character, but apparently his design was well liked enough to actually get a toy. And Thunderhowl himself actually also has a deluxe figure coming down the pike that'll be released alongside RC to complete the McAdam Build-A-Figure. But there's one big difference between these two toys. The deluxe toy is based on the character's early concept art, and as such is not screen accurate. This new Ultra Class, despite not being marketed as kind of a collectible figure, it's more aimed at younger kids, looks much closer to the show interpretation and just seems to be more complex overall. It comes with a detachable wolf head that forms the hilt of his sword. It's got this big weapon that I believe forms his tail. He's even got a cape, so that's cool. And if the renders are anything to go by, which you can see here, it looks like he's got ankle tilt. So this may be a superior toy in comparison to the deluxe class, which really shouldn't happen, but stranger things have happened. Oh, he is also part of the Energon armor subline, so he does have a little flip down Energon armor. So we'll see how that looks and how that affects the toy overall. So, yep, seeing everything. So we're gonna open this up. I'll take a look at the instructions first, and then we'll see Thunderhowl himself in both his beast and robot modes. All right, here's the instruction sheet. See Thunderhowl on the front. Over here, it shows you how to activate his Energon armor, how all that works. Apparently you need to take the wolf head off his chest before it'll go on there, but I'll test that. I'll see if that's necessary or not. It shows you how to attach or store all of his accessories there. He's got a lot of accessories too. Right? He's got the wolf head, the sword, the cape, and the tail, or I guess other sword. Or those. Very impressive. And then you got the transformation, and look at it. There's a lot going on here. This guy is very complex for a Cyberverse toy. So very, very cool. All right, here's the beast mode, and guys, this is look at the posability on this. Got ball jointed shoulders, bicep swivel, bending elbows, got ball jointed hands so you can go every which way, ball jointed hips, got a bending knee, though it's on kind of a ratcheted motion, which is not perfect, and then ball jointed ankles. So you get such a range of motion out of this guy. Plus, the tail lifts up and down, which is awesome. You can see he's got an articulated neck, goes up and down, and then the head, the base of the neck can move. The mouth opens also, which is cool. It doesn't like to stay open unless you pry it open like all the way to almost like in a natural degree. And the tail lifts up and down. Also stores a sword underneath, and it's tucked away pretty well. So, I am really shocked by this. This thing is like it's got siege level of articulation in this mode. Does all sorts of stuff. Now, granted, it uses ball joints, which aren't as good as the, what they call universal or hinge and swivel joints. But, yeah, look at this thing. I've never seen anything like it in Cyberverse. I guess the only other beast mode character we've had is, Cheetor? Well, Cheetor and Grimlock. And neither of their beast modes have had this level of articulation. And again, this isn't a collector-oriented size class, right? The Ultra class has had some very simplistic designs in it, but this guy, I don't know how they snuck him past the naysayers in the budget department. Oh, and in case you're wondering, yes, the cape does come off, so you don't have to leave it on in wolf mode if you don't want to. Just kind of comes right out. Here's probably the one thing I don't like about the beast mode is that the robot head is visible underneath. They didn't do anything to cover that up. But yeah, here's his like pure beast mode without the cape or any kind of razzle dazzle. And it looks very good. It's got a very muscular, streamlined appearance. Really digging it. I mean, the only thing they could have done to make this better as far as, I guess, presentation, posability, is if there was maybe a second, like a little swivel here so the tail can go side to side instead of up and down. But all right, now it's time for the transformation. So first thing we're gonna do is detach his tail. Just kind of pulls out from the top like that, set it aside. The cape, you can take it off, leave it on, whatever you want to do. Doesn't really get in the way. So straighten his feet out, unbend the knees. You're gonna straighten out his shins like that. And these armor pieces actually slide to the side here. In fact, you probably do that before you unbend the knees. But look at that. I mean, it's on a separate little swivel right there compared to the rest of the thigh. Really, really surprising. So straighten that out, fix the armor, straighten the knee. And now these little hip pieces right here, they're plugged into basically his butt. So you want to lift that up off of them, like so. That will enable them to swing up. And you want to push them tightly. Now, unfortunately, this connection is not very secure, and his hips have a tendency to kind of sway around a little bit. It's not great. So just push that flap back down for now. And bring his arms down. Let's go ahead and bring his wolf head down. These little pegs right here under his head are gonna plug into his chest. Hold it in place. Oopsie. Spoilers. Didn't really want to show that off yet. All right, so the arms are very similar to the legs. Swing the armor pieces out to the side. Fix his hands. Fix the floppy hips. That's gonna bug me. I don't think they were intended to be that floppy. I think QC just didn't really catch it. They will plug in, just not very securely. All right, so here's the base robot mode. And he is just as posable as he is in wolf mode. All the same joints and everything work, with the exception of the head. The head is static, which is a common thing, not just within Cyberverse, but especially these Energon armor guys. They tend to have a solid headpiece that facilitates like the little hinge for the Energon armor to swing up. But yeah, I mean, he's just a really cool looking robot. Very much reminds me of a Beast Wars character, just a more mechanized one. I love it. He looks cool just like this, just as an action figure. Now let's see if his Energon armor works with the wolf head attached. Pull this back. Oh, don't be shy now. There we go. Nah, it does kind of get in the way. Doesn't let the chest armor swing all the way down. Oh well. Alright, let's tuck that away for now. Alright. So speaking of the wolf head, let's remove it. It just comes right off here. It's attached by a little clip. Fun times, guys. I really wish they would just nix the Energon armor thing. It's such a superfluous gimmick. Well, there it is. That's what it looks like. Kind of standard chest armor on the front, and then it gives his helmet kind of a more savage appearance. So that's neat. So tuck it away again. It's so desperate to be out there, isn't it? And now it doesn't want to stay. Stay. All right. So let's go ahead and remove the sword from his tail. Just tabs in by that little slot there. Then you're gonna take the wolf head and just use that clip, plug into the hilt of the sword. Have him hold the sword in his hand. Now you can only hold it with the flat of the sword facing forward, so Looks cool, but not very practical, right? I mean, how's he gonna chop people with it? The tail, unfortunately, doesn't seem like it could actually be wielded as any kind of weapon, despite its very sharp appearance. So it's really just supposed to connect to his hips, which I just realized it's a scabbard. So there it is. It's not a sword, it's a scabbard because the sword can go in it. Should have realized that sooner. All right, so we got all that. Finishing touch, let's attach his cape. And you just push the little pegs down in these holes in front of his shoulders. Those hips really do not want to stay tabbed in. That's annoying. All right, here we go. And here's Thunderhowl in all of his glory. Very knight-like. Love the wolf motif. He's got like the clawed knuckles there. He's got the scabbard. Beautifully done, mechanized-looking cape. Like I said, he's got tons and tons of posability. He just, oh man, he works so well. I can't believe this is a Cyberverse toy. Why couldn't they have all been this good, you know? It's a shame that the other figures coming down the pike really aren't going to look like this. What was that, like Commander class and some other thing with like the talking toys? I forget what it's called. I haven't been following it because they don't look interesting. Those toys look awful. Maybe I'll change my mind later, but as of right now, I don't plan on getting all of those. I think my Cyberverse collecting is pretty much done between this and the deluxes. Speaking of the deluxes, I think this guy is unequivocally a better toy than the deluxe coming. Now, I haven't handled that one yet. I could be wrong. We'll see when I get it how well it compares. But looking at the images of it, I'm not all that impressed. It's very lacking. And obviously part of that is due to the fact that it's not screen accurate, that it's based on an earlier design. So it doesn't have all the cool stuff like the wolf head, you know, forming part of the sword. It doesn't even have the cape. And he's got a very different color scheme, which is a little gaudy for my tastes. So I think the only places where this guy's lacking is, one, the lack of head articulation. It is a shame. It would be nice if he could turn his head around and everything, which could have been fixed if they just nixed the whole stupid Energon armor thing. And then, of course, the fact that his hips, the connections, at least on my copy, they don't stay tight at all, and just posing him causes it to kind of disconnect and flop around. So he's very, very cool. I think he makes for a much better display piece than he does a children's toy because of that floppiness. His robot mode's really going to frustrate some kids. You know, they're trying to play with him, make him fight, and his legs just keep falling apart. But if you can get everything in a nice static pose, he looks just gorgeous in both the robot and wolf modes. Very majestic. So personally, I really recommend this toy. Even if you're not crazy about Cyberverse, if you just want a new Transformer, you know, something that's very different, I would pick this guy up. He's ultra class, so what's it, 25 bucks, I think? He's just a lot of fun. He reminds me of the deluxes of yesteryear. You know, he's got that chunkiness to him, and at the same time also reminds me of more modern deluxes with the amount of posability he has. So I think overall this guy's a win-win. You get a new character, you get a very cool design, you get something that's really fun to pose and play with. But as always, that is just my opinion. I'd love to know what you all think in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a like, let YouTube know you want to see more like this. If you do want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. And thank you for joining me for this unexpectedly exciting look at the new Cyberverse Ultra Class Thunderhowl toy. And with all that said, I will see you next time.